Gotchasports. We are back. Another episode. Carrie, how are we feeling?
Pretty good. Halfway through the week. A lot of sports nowadays. It seems like every single hour of the day there's something going on. And we can thank college basketball for that. So that is just another reason to be
Yep.
very excited for sports. Um, just finished a great World Series. So baseball's officially over. Um, and there's a lot to look forward to. I know we've already seen with some of the MLB stuff too. Certain teams aren't re-signing players, or they're going to go after guys. So I don't know. It's already fun seeing the motion and action of what your hopefully your favorite team could potentially do next year already.
No, for sure. Absolutely. The fall is the best time in sports. I mean, everything's going on. You got college sports, obviously college basketball picking back up now, college football, where we got playoff rankings this week. We got the whole 9 yards, professional sports, pretty much everything going on, baseball ending. So, no, great time in sports for sure. We're going to dive into a couple of different sports in this episode today. So, if it's your first time joining us, appreciate you. We're Gotcha Sports. Today's episode, we are going to talk about the World Series. Crazy finish, picture perfect, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we'll dive into it, but what a series that was. We were going to college football, had a week of upsets last week. We'll dive into that. And then we're bringing back Gear Grinders, a segment we have not done in a while, stuff that's been getting on our nerves over the past couple of weeks. And then, like Carrie mentioned earlier, college basketball is back. We will touch upon that here in the first week. And then, of course, it's going to lead up to my favorite week of the year. That is the feast week. Carrie, we got a lot of college basketball to talk about. Brand new teams, players you don't even recognize on different teams. And so we'll dive into that. And then, of course, we will end it with the best bet. Carrie, the MLB World Series. Let me know your thoughts, reactions. I mean, what a freaking series that was.
Yeah, I will say Blue Jays did make it way further than I thought they would. Took it to a game seven. Kind of a tough look, I will say, to lose game six and seven at home. But like we said all year, nothing's automatic with this Dodgers team. Um, I don't know. Quick shout out, Bo Bichette, to miss the majority of the season and come in and just tear it up the way that he did.
Dude.
That's I don't know if anyone would have predicted that with 100% honesty at least. So I mean, great to see him back and healthy. Had a huge home run in Game Seven, so that was awesome to see. Defense was all around incredible within the seven games
Yeah.
in general. Um, I don't know, favorite play, Pages gets subbed in, I don't know, seventh, eighth inning, and makes an
Yeah.
incredible play over Kike Hernandez in left field, saved the game for them. So I mean, just all around, I think with how good the game seven was alone, and you had the 18 inning game to start it off or whatever it was. I think you could honestly
It's
throw this up
crazy,
there with
dude.
one of the better World Series we've seen in a while.
Oh, 100%. To your point, it goes to game seven. If the fact you have game seven in general, it's already going to make history. You add in an 18 inning game on top of that in the same series. The home team losing the last two to lose the World Series. I mean, a picture perfect ending. And no matter who came out on top, I mean, this series had everything. Bo Bichette, that guy is unreal. Doesn't really have an AB all year. Then bats almost 350 in the World Series. Hits a 3-run home run. How hard is it, even if you get hurt, to not really have any swings, just to go into there to live pitching in the setting that he's in? How incredibly difficult is that to do?
I mean, I thought it was impossible just being a designated hitter in general, like just only being able to hit. Like you didn't play the field whether you weren't good enough, but just for the example of only essentially hitting the entire game, I thought that was hard enough because you are
Yeah.
locked in, then you're potentially sitting down for maybe not sitting, but you're not playing doing anything for like 45 minutes, and it's like, okay, I still have to get locked in for maybe a total of 10 minutes the entire 3 hour game. So for him to do what he
Right.
did and not play for how long he did. It's I don't care what cage work he got, whether it was off a machine, live pitching, whatever it was. It still doesn't compare to live action when you're facing dudes like Yamamoto, Shohei,
Right.
Roki, Glass now. Like it's still not the same. So for him to do what he did is literally the most unreal thing I've ever seen in my life.
For sure. You have that on the offensive side of things. And then even on the defensive side, what Yamamoto did is unheard of too. Pitches game 6. And then that same day, Kerry, that same day, not even 24 hours later, this guy comes in and pitches, what was it, 2 1/3 to close
Yeah,
the World Series? I mean, you
yeah,
were
you
you
got.
were a pitcher in college. Could you, if you threw 90 pitches the day before and go out 14 hours later, that's
I mean,
unbelievable too.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a thing where like, could I do it? Sure. Would I do anything near compared to what he did? No. I mean, was the dude accounted for 3 out of their 4 wins, which is
The
hasn't
World
hasn't
Series is
he's
crazy.
he's officially in a stat line with Randy Johnson already in his career because I believe Randy Johnson's the only other pitcher to do that. I could be wrong
I
about
think,
that, but I know Randy Johnson is at least the most recent to do it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Randy Johnson did it. There might have been one or two more, but I don't think there's more than 5 people in the history of
No.
baseball for how long it's been going on for someone to do something like this.
Right. And if I had to throw any other name in there, it'd probably be Nolan Ryan because that dude was an absolute animal.
True, true. So again, people have the debate all the time about what is the best postseason sporting event in the entire world. If you have a World Series like this, it's got to be in the conversation because what just occurred to end this MLB season again is just something that should be and will be talked about for a long time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think, like I said, I think this is one of the best World Series we've seen in a while. Um, I don't think it tops the Game 7 of the Cubs Indians from 2016. But in terms of a Game 7,
Come
you
on.
can't you literally cannot ask for more. There's no way it beats it.
Totally disagree with that. It seems like there's a little bit of bias
Yeah, you're lying to
involved in there,
yourself.
but hey, I mean, hey, it's a part of it. It's part of sports. I understand. I understand. But hey, 10 out of 10 World Series, dude. Absolutely no complaints. Had you on the edge of your seat every single game. You never knew what time you were going to bed in any of those games.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
was just great.
No, yeah, great ball all around, and I'm honestly just happy that that ended up being a great series because I did not give the Blue Jays a chance.
For sure. What a way to end it. But Kerry, let's throw it over to college football. Week of upsets, dude. Uh, Top 10 teams flying all over the place. 1, 2 lost teams in the middle of the pack. Who knows where they're going to end up when the college football playoff rankings come out this week. But what were your biggest takeaways from this week? We had some teams that we thought were there. We thought they were elite that lost to teams they shouldn't lose to. We had some teams that we didn't think were very good that are now in the conversation. What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think for starters, this was a game I bet on just because I thought it was a lock. I'll start with the Houston West Virginia game, and I honestly didn't even get to watch the majority of the game because we were watching other games, but I like found out that West Virginia's scoring touchdowns on fake punts. They're scoring touchdowns on 80-yard pick sixes. And I'm just like, okay, it's just going to be one of these games. But honestly, huge win for West Virginia. I thought that team was so down in the dumps. And you know what? Now they got a ranked team beating on their schedule. So good for them. That was one of my heartbreakers. And, I think you're going to touch on it if I don't. Notre Dame, Boston College, still anticipated game. It's a rivalry game. Um, I think for as bad as Boston College is, we did not play the cleanest game. And I think part of it, honestly, at least this time, just goes back to the play calling. I thought we were running a complete different set of plays than what we normally did. We had Jeremiah Love with one touch in like the first 8 plays of the game. Um, and in my game or in my head, when you're playing a 1-7 Boston College team, you should just let your O line dominate and just get it to your running backs. And I think it was just frustrating to not see that to open up the game at least.
Right. Yeah, it definitely, specifically in the Notre Dame game, I do. I think it came down to preparation. I I'm an analytical guy. You know that. I think with a game like this, analytics were too heavily involved because if you look at the stats, Boston College pass defense is not good. I think we came in thinking that we're just going to be able to throw the rock all over them, and they were not playing high safeties. I mean, the look at
No,
least seemed like we had a lot of plays over top, and we tried to take advantage of it, and we couldn't connect. So from that standpoint, it looked like we weren't prepared. I just didn't think it was the best game plan. You go into a on the road 31 and a half or 30 and a half, whatever it was, point favorites and win by 15. Not that great.
no, very disappointing to see. And I I don't think there were many, at least full drives, that we just looked like the cleanest team in the world, which in our current shape, that can just not be a thing right now. And the thing is, I think we took a step back because I think for the past 3 or 4 games, we looked relatively pretty solid, or we were at least going in a vertical direction with this team. And that was the first time in a while that I've been a little worried about this team. I'm not worried about losing a game, but just when you got teams like Pitt coming up, Pitt's not a cupcake. Like, that's not an easy win. So seeing the way we just played at Boston College definitely makes me pretty nervous to play at a Pitt this year.
For sure. And I think it just comes down to not overthinking it. We know our team identity. We know what we do well. Now, you just got to do it, Put the game plan together and just go out there and execute. And I understand it's easier said than done, but at the same time, once you start going away from your identity, it's hard to go back to it. And so I
Right.
think the
Right.
starting point has to be with the identity, and then you adjust from there, not chase the entire game. So I think we'll make the adjustments. I think this was actually a good thing for Notre Dame. Like you said, I think we were in that little bit of a run where we got comfortable with where we're at the season. We saw some teams lose that we needed to lose, and so I think we just got a little bit complacent. I'm confident that we're going to get back on the right track and start to really show our dominance against some of these lower tier teams. But we'll see. I think we have it, but we definitely need to improve on a lot of things from that BC game.
Yeah, I agree. And I know this is a type of game you and I could break down for probably at least an hour about. But another question in mind is, do you think Texas is finally figuring it out this year? Do you think Vanderbilt's still kind of, it's still tough to consider them a real good team? Was it a Pavia issue? Just overall intake of that Texas Vanderbilt game.
I wasn't shocked with this Texas Vandy game, to be honest. I wasn't confident in Vandy going into it. Going on the road at Texas is a tall task in itself, but also top 25 opponents in the SEC game matters a ton for both teams with losses on the board. Can't really lose situation for both teams. Texas, I think, is just better than Vandy. Vandy could not tackle. A lot of the fundamental things they were not doing correct, and Texas was taking advantage of them. I don't think this is the last game Vandy's going to lose this year either. Texas, on the other hand, I wouldn't say that they're figuring it out. I think Texas is good. I just don't think they're great. Texas is going to finish with 3 losses, in my opinion, at the end of the year. Again, they're a talented enough team to beat a top dog one out of every however many times this year. I don't think they'd be able to do it consistently, but they're talented enough to beat anybody, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think, you and I were able to watch that game, and, I realized the score was relatively pretty close at the end, but we can agree that I think Texas, for the most part, did dominate the entirety of that game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Another top 10 team goes down last week, and that is Miami. Miami pisses me off because I finally admitted that they were elite, that they were a top 2 or 3 team. And of course, as soon as those words come out of my mouth and I solidify that I'm on their train and them being elite, they go and shit the bed against SMU.
Yeah, man, and I think all year we even did openly admit that we thought their defense was pretty solid, and now
The
their
defense is
defense
very
isn't
good,
even looking good. Not against SMU though.
right?
Louisville wasn't
I
great against either, and it's just I thought even the main force of that team is now just slowly fading away. That is absurd to go from the first 5 6 games they played to what they're currently doing.
Yeah, completely shakes a bunch up because the ACC is not strong to begin with either. So Miami doesn't have a lot of opportunities to get huge quality wins. But also with the way the playoff is now, a 2-loss Miami team, you think they get into the playoff not going to the ACC championship? Probably. So that means possibly 3 ACC teams get in, which shakes it up even more. So this is not only a huge loss for Miami, but also the ACC is up for is up for grabs now. NC State beats Georgia Tech. That shakes things up even further. We even said on the podcast that the ACC was a one-man show, and now we're sitting here like, who the hell is going to win this conference?
Right. And now it even messes with the SEC. We see all the SEC teams that have 1 or 2 losses right now, and it's just like it's going to come down to, do we want 4 or 5 teams from the SEC? Do we want to take all 3 of these teams from the ACC? And obviously, it's still too early to really talk about that. There's a lot more games. There's going to be a three loss SEC and ACC teams, but it seems like more and more, it's just there's so many 1 to 2 loss teams that it's going to get really interesting with who they throw in at the end of the year, because it comes down to, and this wasn't an official poll, but I saw a lot of guys think that potentially North Texas had a shot at the 12 seed because they'll be a 1 loss team, and it's just like, does it
Mm-hmm.
come to a point again where you look at that undefeated Florida State team a few years ago, or when the 1 loss Florida State team or whatever it was, and they got left out of the 4 team playoff, if you recall that. Do they start treating
Mm-hmm.
that like North Texas? Like, because like realistically, who has North Texas played? I think their
Right.
1 loss is to South Florida, and we've seen at times this year South Florida's been good. They beat Florida, which at least traditionally that would never happen. Um, but and now it's kind of looking weird with Florida. All of a sudden, they've won 3 in a row, and they're playing like a complete different team, or maybe not 3 in a row. They lost to Georgia, correct?
Yeah.
But it was a close game with Georgia.
Right.
So it's just like eventually, more and more, I feel like North Texas is gonna hurt themselves losing that 1 game to South Florida by, I don't even know what it was, by a point or two. Because I'll tell you,
Right.
you don't want to be the 11 or 12 seed looking in and having to see 6 other potential schools that could be in those spots too.
Well, trust me, Kerry, I've been looking at those 6 or 7 schools because we're in
Yeah.
that spot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yep. Right.
yeah, no, I agree with you. The college football playoff too. What's crazy about it is after everything is settled, there's still going to be people out there, and Notre Dame may be on the outside looking in, but people are going to be like, "Oh, this is why you expanded to 16 teams or 24 teams," and you could say this at every number you choose. You choose 76. That 77th team deserves. They think they deserve to be in. So it's just a part of sports, There's human error to it. There's analytics a part of it. At the end of the day, it's a 12-team playoff race, and there's going to be a shitload of teams that are going to have 2 losses, some good teams that have 3 losses, some non-power 4, 5 teams that have 1 loss that are all going to be in consideration. And at the end of the day, there's going to be a committee that sits in that room and handpicks those, and
Yeah.
people are going to be upset about it. And I'll tell you what,
Yep.
that committee is shaking in their boots right now because that job has got to be insane
They're gonna.
right now
They're
because no
gonna hear
matter
about
what, they're
it. They're
wrong.
gonna hear. Yeah, they're gonna hear
Yeah,
about it no matter what. Like there's no outside of maybe the top 8 or 9 schools in the 12-team playoff, the last three are going to be the wrong pick, no matter what.
For sure. Yep. 100%. And we've got first college football playoff rankings happening this week. On next episode, we will unpack that and see where everybody stands. I had an argument with my brothers over the weekend about whether Notre Dame's going to be in it or not. Honestly, right now, I don't think we deserve to be in. I think we should be on the outside looking in. With some of the losses that happened last week, I do think we might sneak in with the 11 seed in this rankings. But again, I think that bottom half's going to flip flop every single week moving forward until the final ones come out. So we'll be here to unpack it all, but we will review that first college football playoff ranking on next episode. Carrie, let's throw it to our first and only segment of today's episode, and that is Gear Grinders. Unfortunately, going to bring the mood down here on this podcast, Carrie, but what's been grinding your gears this week?
So it's actually a gear grinder once a year. Other half of the year, it's great.
Ooh.
The hour time change. I
Welcome back.
I don't think it's ever right. I don't think it's ever something I thought of too much. But I was just like recalling old days when like the time change would happen, and you were still going to high school for like 8 hours for a full day. It's like almost like I was more tired in high school than I was during a work day. But man, that time zone change whenever it is, and what is it, like February or March now? Does that sound no, probably not February. March or April, whenever it is.
Spring. Yeah, I think April.
Yeah, like that is, I think that's a high schooler's worst nightmare, is that losing an hour of sleep.
For sure. Or a parent's worst nightmare because the kid's internal clock don't adjust to that. I can tell you that.
Right, yeah. Or imagine like going through the house and it's okay, if you own a house, you just got to go through and adjust 20 clocks. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I did it on the coffee maker, did it on the microwave, the oven.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if you're still missing one somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah. But what has been grinding your gears lately?
My gear grinder this week, what's been grinding my gears is when people slam things shut. Like for an example, when you go into a public restroom, you're sitting on the toilet, someone walks in and slams the stall door next to you shut. That scares the shit out of me every single time somebody does, or like slams the toilet seat down when they're done. There's no need for that. Absolutely no need for that. Or even when my wife slams the cabinets, dude, I jump every single time.
I think the cabinet is what gets me bad. Because you got some
so
of them
loud.
where you got some of them where you toss them clothes and it's like it adds like the force where it'll slowly shut no matter what. But man, when you don't have those and you're not expecting it and you just shove it, oh my god! Like I think I've done it myself and I've made myself jump from doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I am at the point where I'm conscious of not doing it. That's how much it annoys me.
I think I've even done it with my car door before, and I'm like, dude, like calm down a little bit. Like there's no need for just slamming the door like that.
No, not at all. Not at all. But Carrie, let's throw it to our last topic of today's episode, and that is college hoops. Here we go. We are so back. It feels good just to know that there is college basketball on pretty much every day besides Christmas, I think, until the end of the national championship game.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally unreal to check my phone and there's 20 more games. They probably started by now, but there's 20 more games on tonight. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you physically? This isn't college football where you can watch the majority of the good games at once. Like, eventually there's going to come a time where there's 8 great games all at once. And it's like, if you don't have multiple TVs, you might be in trouble if you want to watch all of
them. For sure. And this year, dude, in college basketball, the freshman class is unbelievable. The transfer portal was set records once again. Each team you turn on the TV, you're not going to recognize. And there is loads of talented teams all across the
Yeah.
country.
Yep. Yep. And my spotlight for early in the year will be Cam Boozer on Duke. He just he looks like the best player on the court. I know it's early. They've really
It's
only
a
played a
grown man,
scrimmage or
dude.
two, and then yeah, and it's just like yeah, I mean it's unreal to look at those guys and they're how are they 8 years younger than me and a whole foot taller
Right.
than me? It's just like where like these yeah, I mean they're made in a lab. Like there's no other explanation for some of these freshmen and the how developed they are already.
Oh no, for sure. And to your point, Cam Boozer's one of them. We saw AJ DeBanza have a great game for BYU, and even over at Kansas, you had Darren Peterson, another stud freshman who had a great game. Koa Pete from Arizona, somebody who's probably not on many of people's radar just with how loaded this class is. Guy he was on pace for a triple double in the first half. I mean, this freshman class is unbelievable. And then you add the transfer portal on top of it. There's just a lot of talent, a lot of talented teams. And so when you turn the TV on any day, you could be watching a lot, not only of NBA talent, but a lot of people that are going to go overseas and make a lot of money.
Sorry, quick hair adjustment. So obviously you're pretty in tune with the teams for the most part. I know it's going to take another week or two for you to get a better feel for all the teams. Right now, who would you say early candidate freshman of the year, and then also which team, in your opinion, won the transfer portal, whether it's based on multiple players or just an individual player in general?
Good question. What I will start with is the freshmen that we've already kind of spoke about with Cam Boozer, AJ DeBanta, Darren Peterson. Those are, I think, the favorite. I think Koa Pete, after what we saw last night, you can definitely put him in that conversation. And this is going to be a conversation I think could flip back and forth a lot as the year goes on, and names that aren't even on our radars yet that even either haven't played or just not just don't really know much about him yet, you know. But I think those four are definitely the favorites. Um, Transfer portal wise, I think the team that reloaded the most because with how much production they lost has got to be Florida, the national champions. Just with both their elite guards, Elijah Martin, Walter Clayton, both leaving, reloaded with, or they had a couple of bigs come back that are really good. Reloaded with Boogie Flan, who came over from Arkansas, who was a freshman last year, can score the heck out of the basketball. They get a transfer from USC and Len, massive shooter. I mean that team for how much production they lost to reload like that's crazy. I think Michigan's a team to look out for. Everybody's talking about Purdue being the favorite. I think Michigan reloaded with some elite talent like Elliot Cadeau from North Carolina, veteran guard. I think they're a team to look out for, and also Texas Tech. Uh, I was very, very high on them last year, and they were missing a couple pieces. They had a couple of injuries down the stretch, but they reloaded with a ton of talent, spent a bunch of money in the portal. So I could see them making a huge jump this year too. But there's a lot of teams that, again, that reloaded with some incredible talent that we're going to start to see. But it's really hard to say who I lean as the favorite this year, just because of how loaded these rosters are.
No, yeah, I get it. And like I said, very early, we've maybe seen one regular season from each team so far, and maybe not even each team yet. Now that I think about it, but I think there is a lot of anticipation for this year, strictly because a lot more of these college teams do rely so much more on the young talent than they do the experience.
Yeah, for sure. The freshman, not only freshman class, but the freshman talent, ever since the transfer portal became even more prominent, just shows how valued those freshmen actually are. And we were seeing experienced teams that are in the transfer portal that can't finish down the stretch. And some of it is that kind of electric freshman spark that nobody that anticipation coming in. I think that is a true factor in college basketball, or the even the thought of the unknown of what this player could be or what they could do for that team. But freshmen are heavily valued in the sport of college basketball right now, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just what this sport has kind of slowly transitioned to. So that's what I mean. A lot of teams are relying on their freshmen to step up, and I mean, realistically, it's not even one freshman anymore; it's multiple freshmen on these top tier college basketball teams.
Yeah, and it's crazy too. You would think that with the transfer portal, that the talented freshmen would be overshadowed by these veteran players, and it's actually been the opposite. With these freshmen, the freshman talent overshadowing the experience, which is crazy to see.
Yeah, and then like I stated earlier, I think that's just been the slow development of the new college basketball phase. And I know we talked about it a lot last year. So many more teams are just pushing the ball up and down the court. And it's, not to the extent of turning it into an NBA game with the amount of points they put up, but like it's literally not shocking to see a college team put up 90 anymore. And I feel like 10 years ago, 90 was insane to put up in a game.
For sure. And a team that's pushing the pace more this year, which I love, it's actually the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who start the year 1-0 over big win over Long Island University. I'll tell you what, dude, people are going to make fun of this Notre Dame team, and you know what? Maybe rightfully so. I don't care. This team's got a couple of shooters that you got to look out for. And this team's going to run, and this team's going to be electric to watch, in my opinion. Nobody else will say that, but in my opinion, this team's awesome. They're going to be a fun team to follow this year.
Hey man, they sneak in some big wins. I'm sure other people will be mentioning that.
I love it. I love it. Hey, maybe this is the year where we make some noise and get in a little bubble watch territory. What do you say, Kerr?
That'd be pretty cool because we have not experienced that for what, 3 years now? Does that sound right?
We haven't been to the tournament since 2022 when I graduated. I left
All
and
right.
program
Well, yeah,
hasn't been
3
back
years.
since.
3 years,
Correlation?
4 years then.
I don't know.
Yeah, you need to make a return pronto.
I need to. I need to. But we'll be here to cover it all. College basketball is back, and we will be here all season long. Gary, let's throw it to the best part of every episode, and that is the best bet. There's two picks out there for the people today. And you're going to have to go on our X page at Gotchasports to see what those picks are. College basketball lines aren't really out yet. College football lines didn't really love. So wanted
The
to see the
midweek
board, give you
football.
guys the best play, the midweek action. I want to give you guys some winners, the best plays out there. So go follow us on our social media on Twitter. We also got Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, you name it. We got it. Gary, that's all I got for this episode. A lot of sports to talk about. We're going to have some longer episodes. Going to put out another episode this week, so stay tuned for that and check that out. But okay, we're here. This is fall time. This is fall weather, sweatshirt, hoodie season. Sports are here, and we're here for it.
Yes, we are.
But if it's your first time joining us, appreciate you returners, all the love. Gary, that's all I got. What do you got?
We got you, sports.
Until next time.